Hello everyone and welcome back to Ash Talks Ball for another video, and it's the one we've all been looking forward to. The season is finally here after a few long months. Thanks to the World Cup for keeping us occupied, but there's nothing like EFL Championship football. So today we've got game week 1 predictions. So I'll be going through all 12 fixtures of the Championship's opening weekend and giving you my predictions on what the results will be. This video and this series of videos have been the one I've been really looking forward to making. I love talking about specific games and matchups. The Championship always brings up a variety of storylines and interesting teams every year. Some you don't see coming, some you do. Obviously, I had my 1 to 24 video last week, so hopefully you've all checked that out. Let me know what you think. There's going to be game week 1. We've obviously got games Friday, Saturday, Sunday and Monday for the opening weekends. That's going to be a huge weekend of football, and I'm here for it and I'm ready to talk to you about it. So just one note, I am going to be keeping track of how well I do with these predictions. I'm going to be using a scoring system used by the great Benjamin Bloom on his prediction videos with Sam Parkin. I've followed Ben's journey for a long time. Obviously being an Ipswich fan, I've followed Ben's journey quite closely. Back from the opening days of Blue Monday to where he is now, it's been so great to follow his journey. Obviously, I'm sure you all know who Benjamin Bloom is if you've clicked on my video, but I'll leave a link to his channel just in case. But this is the scoring. So obviously you'll get 1 point if you get the correct result. So say if you predict a home win and it is, you get 1 point. If you predict the correct scoreline, say a 2-0 home win and it does end 2-0, then you get 3 points instead. And then if you want a bonus point and you correctly predict the correct score and it has 5 or more goals, then you get a bonus point. So maximum per game is 4 points. Obviously there'll be few and far between. But I'll keep track. I'll do an update at the start of each prediction video of how many points I got in the previous week. And yeah, it's going to be fun to keep track of. So with that being said, the season's here. Let's get into it. EFL Championship, game week 1. Let's do it. So we start on Friday night at Molineux, Wolves, Blackburn. Interesting game to start off with. Obviously, Wolves coming down from the Premiership last season, a completely disastrous season. From early on, you could tell it was only going to end in relegation. Rob Edwards was obviously the manager at the end of the Premier League season, but they've gone a different direction. Obviously, the new manager coming in, we haven't seen in English football before, so it's going to be a learning process with him. Wolves had a good start to the season with their Carabao Cup, comfortable win at home to Port Vale. Not quite sure how much we can take from those opening week Carabao Cup games. A lot of teams, I think, did treat them like an extension of pre-season. They haven't played a league game yet. So we'll take all those results with a pinch of salt, but a good start for Wolves with their super strong squad. Obviously, they're going to have one of the strongest squads in the division, along with West Ham, coming down from the Premiership after being in there for a good few years. And obviously, they are one of the favourites for promotion, and you would expect them to get top 2. On the other hand, Blackburn, it could be a long season for Blackburn. As I noted in my prediction video, I think they're pretty likely to get relegated. Tony Mowbray is a good, experienced Championship manager. He knows what he's doing, but I just don't think that the squad is in a good place. Plenty of transfers still to do, but I'm not quite sure if Mowbray is going to be given the resources. Obviously, they brought in Sam Morsy earlier in the week. Obviously, as an Ipswich fan, absolutely love Sam Morsy. Not quite sure if that's going to be the needle mover, but he should help raise the floor just a little bit and give them some bite at midfield. Opening days can sometimes throw up some surprise results, but I don't think this is going to be one of them. I think there's going to be a pretty comfortable home win. Long season ahead for Blackburn. Wolves have got their path in front of them. They've got the squad to do it, and I think they're going to go get off to a good start. So I'm going to go for a 2-0 Wolves win here. So Wolves off to a real good start. Nice solid 2-0 win. Blackburn, it was always going to be tricky with this fixture. A recently relegated Premier League side away on the opening day when you're one of the favourites for relegation. It's a tough task. So my first prediction on the channel is Wolves 2, Blackburn 0, and let's hope for a good curtain raiser on Friday night. On to the opening Saturday we go, and one early kick-off, and that is the Lancashire clash between Bolton and Preston. Another super interesting game here. Two sides coming into it from different momentums. Bolton obviously coming off the super high of getting promoted at Wembley. A fantastic end of the season, a 4-1 win against Stockport at Wembley. They've got a lot of their business done early, and in the last week they have added Ryan Hardy. Striker was always going to be one of the important positions for Bolton to get locked down. I'm sure they wanted to do it earlier. They've had interest in bringing Kenny back from Celtic, but that one's not happening at the moment. But I think Hardy is a sensible addition for this level. The Reebok is always a tough place to go. It's going to be a Lancashire derby. The fans are going to be up for it, and I'm looking forward to seeing that atmosphere. In terms of Preston, losing your captain this close to the season obviously isn't ideal, and they haven't had suitable enough time to replace him. So it's probably a good time for Bolton to be playing Preston, to be honest. Alfie Devine coming in permanently is huge. They've got Bergsorg in on loan from Middlesbrough. They're looking to add some more attacking options. Heckenbottom obviously knows this division super well, and he knows what it takes to deal with the ins and outs of a real brutal championship season. So I think this is going to be a typical derby game. Really good atmosphere, players up for it, going all out for the win. But I think this one's going to be a tight game, not very high scoring. The odd goal might nick it, but I'm going to go for a draw. I'll go for 1-1. It's probably a better result for Preston than it is Bolton. Bolton obviously hoping to get a win on the opening day at home. But I think Preston will be a difficult nut to crack this season. It might be a good time to play Preston, like I said earlier, so it could be a real good opportunity for Bolton to get off to a winning start. But I'll go for a share of the spoils, and I'll go for Bolton 1, Preston 1, and then we can move on to the 3 o'clock Saturday games. So next up is one of my top 5 fixtures from the opening day, and that is Bristol City hosting Millwall. Bristol City obviously didn't have the great start to the season, losing 1-0 at home to League 2 Walsall in the Carabao Cup. The scoreline really doesn't reflect the way the game went. The Walsall keeper had a great day. Bristol City had plenty of chances, but they just couldn't find that opening goal. And Walsall got a goal just after half-time and were able to see it out. Not an ideal start, but like I said earlier, I'm not going to take too much away from the Carabao Cup fixtures, especially in this case when it's a new manager implementing a new system. So I'll give Bristol City a pass there. This one's going to be a big test against a Millwall side who have plenty of continuity. These two are pretty much coming into this side from opposite ways. Bristol City, new manager, some new players, especially up front. Millwall is going to be opposite. They've got most of their squad still together and pretty much all of their big hitters from their third place finish last in the Championship. They've got a manager who is proven at this level. He knows how to get out of it. Skabala obviously is his first time in this division. So two very different teams coming into it from two very different directions. I think this will be a good time to play Bristol City. They're still getting used to their new manager's way of playing. So it could be a good time for Millwall to make the trip to Ashton Gate. So I will go for an away win here. I expect big things from Millwall this season. I expect them to be a playoff team and a strong playoff team at that. I think it's going to be a close game. Just a moment of magic from one of Millwall's star players might just get the job done. So I will go for a 1-0 Millwall victory here. A real positive start for Millwall to build on, especially after the heartbreak of the playoff loss. For Bristol City, it is never nice to lose at home on the opening day, but their whole season's ahead of them. They're going to be learning every week, and I think the Bristol City team in 2 to 3 months will be a lot stronger than the Bristol City team that we'll see on Saturday. So I'll go for Bristol City 0, Millwall 1, and a real good start for Millwall. Heading over to the Valley, where it's going to be Charlton against Derby. Charlton's home form is obviously going to be absolutely crucial for their chances of survival this season. They've got to make the Valley a fortress. Nathan Jones is obviously a settled manager. He's been there a while now, so the team will know what they want from him. They've made some nice additions. I did have Charlton to be relegated, but that was probably one of the toughest decisions I did make in the predictions video. Derby coming off a disappointing defeat at home to Lincoln in the Carabao Cup. An absolute worldie from Schmodix, by the way. But I have high hopes for Derby this season. I've made it very clear that I have total faith in John Eustace. I believe they'll be in the playoffs, and I think they need to get off to a fast start, especially against a team like Charlton, who I think will struggle this season. Charlton did get off to a fast start last season, but I think this is a very tricky game for the opening day. John Eustace will have his team ready to go. They haven't been super busy in the transfer window, but they've managed to keep Bobby Clark. They've brought Smodix back. They've got Carlton Moss at top. I think they're going to be a pretty efficient side this season. So I'm going to go for an away win here. Again, I think it's going to be a close game. That's the great thing about the Championship. There's going to be a lot of close games. So I'll go for a 2-1 Derby victory here. Really good start for Derby. An away win in a difficult place to go. Can't ask for much more than that. Real disappointing start for Charlton. They need to make the most of every single home game. But to lose your first one is going to put them on the back foot. So I'll go for Charlton 1, Derby 2, and Derby to make a fast start to the season. Next up, we have Middlesbrough versus Lincoln. The number 1 game on my top 5 opening day fixtures, so I am super excited to see the outcome and passages of this game. Middlesbrough, obviously, I've got them to go up automatically in my predictions. That was one of my biggest shouts of the video. So obviously I'm super high on Middlesbrough. They're going to be big favourites for this game. Obviously, they've had a ridiculously good transfer window. They haven't got the Ashley Phillips deal over the line yet. That seems to have hit a bit of a snag. But everything else, I think they've been absolutely brilliant, and they've filled a lot of their needs really early, and I think they're going to be able to get to such a fast start. At home against a newly promoted side who have new managers themselves, I think this is a great spot for Middlesbrough to get off to a fast start. A good solid home win against Wrexham in the Carabao Cup too helps. I think Middlesbrough are probably going to have one of the better defences again in the division. They've upgraded goalkeeper, they're looking to upgrade centre-back, and I think Middlesbrough are going to be a real force this season. Lincoln are a complete unknown right now. We don't know how the double manager system is going to work. We're not 100% sure on how they're going to play. Again, I don't want to take too much from the Carabao Cup weekend, but an absolutely fantastic result to go to Pride Park and get the win. That's going to be a huge boost for the managers and their fans. Obviously, this is an incredibly difficult spot to go to Middlesbrough on the opening day. The Riverside's going to be absolutely bouncing, and I think it's going to be a tough one. I don't think Lincoln will fall under, so I don't think it's going to be a cricket score. I've gone for Middlesbrough to win 2-0 here. So comfortable. Could there be more goals for Middlesbrough? Yes. I do struggle to see Lincoln causing Middlesbrough too many problems. They've obviously got one of the best goalkeepers in the league now. They've got one of the best centre-backs in the league, one of the best holding midfielders in the league. Middlesbrough should be pretty solid. So I'll go for Middlesbrough 2, Lincoln 0. Great start for Middlesbrough, but Lincoln shouldn't lose heart. This is one of the toughest spots they could have asked for on the opening day. Next up, we are going to Carrow Road for Norwich City against West Brom. Norwich kicking off the season pretty much as they left off last, a really comfortable Carabao Cup win at home to MK Dons. We expect Norwich to get off to a fast start here. Their home form is normally very impressive in the Championship, Liam Manning here excluded, of course. So I'm sure Norwich will be delighted that they're starting off with a home game to keep that positive momentum going that Clermont started last season with their fantastic second half of the season. West Brom also had an impressive Carabao Cup win at the weekend, so they'll be coming up with some confidence. They're obviously super happy with James Morrison as their new full-time manager. They haven't done as much business as I would like, or I think their fans would like. So it's going to be a tricky start here for West Brom. I expect Norwich to be one of the highest scorers in the league with their attacking options that they have. Touré's already off the mark with a goal after 1 minute in the Carabao Cup. So I think this is a great opportunity for Norwich to go after a fast start, get their first home win under their belt. Remember last season they did lose their first 7 home games, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. So I'll go for a comfortable Norwich win here. I'll go for 3-1. Disappointing start for West Brom, but there's probably going to be one of the toughest away trips this season in the Championship. So I'll go for Norwich 3, West Brom 1, and a comfortable win for the Canaries to start their season. Moving on to Portsmouth against QPR at Fratton Park. Two teams looking to push on and improve from pretty solid seasons overall in the Championship last season. Portsmouth avoided relegation relatively comfortably in the end after their fantastic end of the season, including their 3 wins in a week right at the end of the season. Home form is going to be incredibly important for Portsmouth, and this season is no exception. John Mousinho is still in charge, a manager I really do respect. I do expect improvements from Portsmouth this season. They've finally invested some pretty serious money, which they haven't done in quite a long time. They do need more goals in the team. They can't just rely on the goals of Segacic like they did last season, especially in the second half of the season. Getting Milovanovic to come in to lead the line should be a boost. Obviously, we haven't seen much of him. Getting the Abu Kamara deal over the line, again, another huge boost to get that done before the start of the season. So Portsmouth should be looking to get off to a fast start. QPR, a season of inconsistency last season. Real good patches, but a real limp finish. Like I said in my prediction video, a team that has a real good young core, and if they do get everything going, it could be a real good season for QPR. Their inconsistencies do worry me. Their manager does worry me. But I think this will be a fun, interesting game on the opening day that should be a good one to watch for the neutrals. I'll go for a solid draw here. I'll go for 1-1. Portsmouth will probably be disappointed with the draw. It's always nice to win at home on the opening day, but I think QPR will be a real solid Championship outfit this season. So I think it'll be a good point for both, even though they might not know that now. So Portsmouth 1, QPR 1, and both teams can move forward and hopefully look forward to positive seasons ahead. Next on the list, we have the Ethan Galbraith derby right here in week 1. Obviously, that's going to get most of the attention leading up to the fixture, but I think overall this should be a real fun game. Two interesting teams who both have managers that I really do respect. Mark Robbins for Stoke, Vitor Matos for Swansea. Big fans of both of those managers. Swansea was obviously one of my biggest shouts at the start of the season. I do predict them to get into the playoffs. A real impressive transfer window so far for Swansea, and the fact that Vopotnik is still here. Again, as I say in every video that I've made so far, I do not think that will be the case. We'll see if he plays in this fixture. They did add Ross Stewart, which is a real good backup option, and if he is asked to start a good amount of games, he can definitely do it at this level. So I think Swansea should be able to get off to a fast start. Stoke at home, they have invested, but they are still looking to do a lot of their business. There is still a lot to be done. So I don't think this will be Stoke's final form. So it could be a real good time for Swansea to make the trip to Stoke. I've gone for a really entertaining game here. I've gone for a 2-2 draw. I think both teams are going to be pretty attacking teams this season, especially Swansea under Matos. I think they're really going to go for it. Swansea will obviously try and build their playoff hopes on their home form. So at any points they can get away, especially against teams like Stoke, who I think are going to be pretty good teams. I think that'll be a huge positive for Swansea. So I'll go for Stoke 2, Swansea 2 in a real interesting, exciting opening day draw. And the final game on Saturday is the evening kickoff between Sheffield United and Birmingham. Two of the teams who I really didn't know what to do with in my prediction video. They are both top half teams for me, but both teams do have weaknesses that do worry me. We'll start with Sheffield United. They've obviously lost a couple of key players. They've lost Andre Brooks. It looks like they're going to lose Gus Hamer to Coventry. They do have a solid core of Championship players throughout the team. And of course, they do have their trump card in Chris Wilder, who knows how to get out of this division. He knows what makes Sheffield United work. So if Chris Wilder's in charge of Sheffield United, I'm always going to back them to do pretty well. Obviously, their fans who did watch my video are probably very disappointed in the fact that I hadn't finished 12th. But like I said, if they get the last few weeks of the window right, they'll be a playoff team. I'm pretty sure of that. Birmingham, on the other hand, will be expecting to be in the playoffs this season. They kept Chris Davis in with the one goal of getting to the Championship playoffs and hopefully getting back to the Premiership. That's what the owners demand. They haven't had as an ambitious transfer window as I was expecting, so they should have a fairly busy end to the transfer window over the next few weeks, and I think they are going to have that if they are going to push for the playoffs. Bramall Lane is always going to be one of the toughest places to go in the Championship, and I think it's going to be pretty rare that I predict a Sheffield United loss at home, especially if things are going pretty well. They're pretty reliable there under Wilder, and it normally takes a pretty good team to go there and get a result. Birmingham could meet that criteria. I've got a lot of questions about Birmingham at the moment, so I'm not going to predict that this time. I'm going to go for a Sheffield United 2-1 win to get a real positive start to the season. The Sellers experiment didn't work last season. Obviously, they lost their first 6 games. But Sheffield United at home, people are starting to bet against them. But I think Chris Wilder will have them ready to go, and I think they'll go off to a fast start. But I've gone for Sheffield United 2, Birmingham City 1. A tough one to call, but I've gone for a narrow home win on that one. 2 games on Sunday, and we'll kick things off at Vicarage Road with Watford against Southampton. Watford with their new manager and an impressive transfer window. I have liked the business they've done so far with their incomings. Loser is still here at the moment. Not quite sure if he'll be here for the whole transfer window. They've lost Iran Kunda. They've lost Jack Fatadze. Like I say, they've brought in some intriguing players. I am a fan of what they've done so far. Watford are always a difficult team to predict. Southampton have had a fantastic transfer window so far. Obviously making Perret and Laren's loans permanent. It's a great start. The only main player they've lost is Shea Charles, which was always going to happen. He was always going to get moved to the Premiership on the last year of his deal. But all of the other big hitters are still here. We'll find out what kind of manager Ton Dereker is. There's a lot of questions about Southampton, but I think they will get answered. I think having the -4 points for Southampton will fire them up to get off to a real fast start. So I expect Southampton to be one of the form teams out of the gate to start the season. I've gone for a relatively comfortable away win here. I've gone for 2-0 to Southampton. I think Southampton's quality will show here. Watford are still being built. There's still things they need to do in the transfer window. And I've got faith that they'll do that after the impressive moves they've made so far. But Southampton, I think, are pretty ready to go. They've got a lot of continuity from last season. But they've only got better with the addition of Dobbin. And I think Southampton are going to be raring to go. So I've gone for Watford 0, Southampton 2, and a fast start for the Saints. And the second of 2 games on Sunday is probably the marquee clash of the round. 2 relegated Premier League sides, Burnley against West Ham. So even though they're coming down from the same division, I think they're in 2 different places at the moment. Burnley, a pretty disastrous off-season so far. Their manager search really has put them behind the 8 ball. They've got a lot of work to do with transfers. They're starting to get done, but there's still a lot of incomings needing to do if they are going to go for another promotion. Zian Fleming is still here, and if he does stay for the transfer window, I think Burnley have got a real good shot of being a top 4 or 5 team. He is going to be the linchpin of this Burnley team. He had a fantastic season in the Premier League last season, and I'd expect him to be really, really effective in the Championship this season. Whereas Burnley's off-season didn't really go to plan, I think West Ham has had a pretty good off-season. Obviously, I've said this, I think, in every video so far. Jared Bowen is staying. Not much more needs to be said. That is a huge win. They got their big sales done early, and they pretty much got top dollar for both Fernandes and for Somerville. There could still be a few exits here and there. There's been links for Wan-Bissaka, there's been links for Castellanos, but West Ham, they've got a relatively settled side. Looks like they're going to sign Solomon on the left-hand side, who had a super productive season with Leeds doing their promotion season, so he'll partner well with Bowen, who will be on the right. I think West Ham is set up to go off to a fast start, and I don't think they'll look back after they've done that. So, tough spot for Burnley here. Yes, they're at home first, but it's going to be against the best team in the division. So I've gone for a comfortable West Ham win here. I've gone for 3-1. Great start for West Ham to get a win like this away from home against the side that was relegated alongside you from the Premiership last season. But I don't think there's going to be too many bad days for West Ham in this season coming up. Burnley can't lose heart here, obviously, to come up against West Ham right away, get that game done, and then you can focus on the rest of your schedule. But a comfortable win for West Ham on the opening day. Burnley 1, West Ham 3, West Ham up and running. And then the Monday night game, Cardiff against Wrexham, the all-Welsh clash at the Cardiff City Stadium. Another game that I'm really interested to see how this is going to play out. I put it on my top opening day fixtures list because I think it's going to be a real interesting clash of styles. Cardiff with Brian Barry Murphy and their exciting young core against Wrexham, Phil Parkinson and his pragmatic style that is oh so effective and can be very clinical, which was proven last season. I've said over and over again, I think Cardiff are going to have to adapt, and I think this is one of the games where they're going to have to do it as well. And I think they could catch Wrexham cold here. Cardiff coming up with huge momentum from League One. Wrexham will have had a disappointing season last season. I personally think it was a really good season for them, but with their investment, they would have wanted playoffs. But they went into the day in 6th, and a win over Middlesbrough would have got it done, but they just couldn't get that over the line. So it was a good season, but Cardiff are coming up with a lot of momentum. They're at home. The crowd's going to be insane for this game. And I think it's a pretty tough spot for Wrexham. I do think Cardiff style will suit Wrexham, but I think it's just a tough spot. I'm going to go for a home win. I'm going to go for Cardiff to get off to a fast start. Cardiff 1, Wrexham 0. But this is one of the tougher games to call. I'm not sure if this counts as a derby, but these are always difficult to call. I'll go with the home team. I'll go with the team with momentum. Wrexham still have some transfer business to do. They have got the deal for Patterson over the line, and it was super important that they did improve their goalkeeping situation. So that is one off their list that they need to do. I assume he'll be involved, but we will see. So I'll go for Cardiff 1, Wrexham 0. Great start for Cardiff, and a real disappointing one for Wrexham. So there we have it. Those are my EFL Championship Game Week 1 predictions. We will revisit these next week in the prediction video. At the start, I will go through how many points I got with the scoring system that I mentioned earlier. Like I said, these are what I've been really excited to get into. Predictions every week, seeing how I'm doing, talking with you guys in the comments about them. I'm really looking forward to this. So here we are. We finally made it. The championship season is here, and I'm really looking forward to it. So as always, thanks for talking ball with me, and I'll see you next time.